Okay. I'm going to talk about something that I hope can help some people out there. You will have to forgive me. I'm in my bathing gown, morning gown, whatever you call it. Is that what you call it? Basically, it's my uniform. It's my work uniform. I'm a novelist. I have been writing. I have then been replying to work emails. Later today, I have to do the money emails concerning paying bills and all of that. So, yeah, um, I'm going to talk about something that is important and difficult. Um, you might want to call it self help. So yeah, the algorithm is shocked. You talked about politics, now you're talking about self-help, but I don't care. I think it's important, so that's what I'm going to talk about. Because some things that you learn in life, you forget. Maybe it's because you find yourself having solved that problem in your life. Um, and then you don't really think about the mindset that got you out of that situation, that difficult situation, right? And I'm sure people here have heard that how you think about yourself and how you talk about yourself matters. Our brains are it's very easy to change and mold our thinking and our brains. Their plasticity, I think it's called. And if you imagine if you say something negative to yourself every morning, or you write something negative, like "you're ugly" or something like that, on your bathroom mirror, and that's the first thing you see in the morning. You know what? After a while, you're going to think that you're actually ugly. But imagine if you write on your bathroom mirror that you're beautiful. You know what? After a while, you're going to think that you are actually beautiful. Just a silly example there, but okay, I'm trying my best here. Are we back? Are we back? I hope we are back. This is really annoying. This is really annoying. Okay, I have this trick now, so I'm going to try that if it happens again. Okay, so yeah, how our minds can be shaped by words and our perception of ourselves. It really matters. So another example is these cults. When you talk to people in cults, well, which hopefully you don't do that so often, but they will not listen to sense and reason, and it's because they have defined themselves so thoroughly into that dogma, you know. Um, I usually the two most common cults is the crazy woke cult and the crazy MAGA cult. And I've used those as examples. When I say crazy MAGA, I'm not talking about all the Trump voters. I'm talking about a certain kind of people. And when I talk about woke, I'm not talking about everyone voting Democrat in the USA. I'm talking about shrieking blue hair nose ring people. Now, or you can go to, almost any religion has cults. Within Christianity, you can find many of those, for instance. And when you talk to them, they will not listen to reason, and they will often just repeat some dogma. And that's a good example of how the brain can be molded and shaped by words. And they define themselves as part of that group, and anything and everything that goes outside of that or defies that, they will just refuse it. They will back down or attack, you know. Now, when it comes to most people, normal people, we do that as well. You know, I'm guilty of that. And what I want to talk about here is a technique that I used to be a hypnotherapist, actually, many years ago, and it's amazing that I'm not better at using these techniques for myself. Okay, so you can define yourself out of problems. Not every problem, but you can define yourself out of problems, because many problems, we get into those problems because we overthink them. We lose our contact with what's really going on. We make it worse than it actually is. Now, this sounds easy when I say it, but if you can tell yourself that you're not like that, do that, you know, and you don't even have to believe in it to start with, because you're going to start believing in it when it is repeated long enough. So, I'll give you another example. For instance, I'm unhealthy. I'm not unhealthy. Well, I hope I'm not unhealthy, but you know, that statement, I'm unhealthy. You know, there are people out there who have just kind of given up. You know why they have given up? And they don't do any physical activity, they eat crap. You know why they do that? Because they've given up. And they have given up because they have, these things interconnect. Okay, so they have given up because they define themselves as unhealthy people. You know, so if, let's say, that person who eats crap and who won't exercise, let's say, here's a crazy idea. Okay, let's if I went to that person and I told that person, listen, now I'm your boss. 30 seconds a day, I'm your boss. And what I command you to do is that for 30 seconds, let's say every morning, you're going to tell yourself, and you can say it out loud if you want to, that you're healthy. You're going to have to tell yourself, I am healthy. I am healthy. And then after that, you can go on eating crap if you want to. But if you tell yourself that you're healthy, you're a healthy person, you know what happens after a while? You start acting like a healthy person. Now, I want to say, when it comes to depression, that it is a technique that should be used. Some people call it manifestation. Yes. I want to say that when it comes to depression, it is a technique that can be used, but I will not say that it will solve depression in all cases, because now actually I'm going back to my years working as a hypnotherapist, and I would then say that, listen, you have to, I'm not qualified, because depression can lead to very serious things. So this is an additional technique that you can use. But it won't harm if you suffer from depression to just try for how long does it take to say, I'm happy? How long does it take to say that? Not many seconds. And, you can try and then go back to being depressed, Um, at the end of the day, we're all dying. That's that's living. Living is slowly dying, just at different rates, different speeds. We're all going that way. That's where we are heading. So, all things can be seen in relative to each other. But this is something I'm going to use more in my life, and because I'm guilty of overthinking. I'm a typical overthinker. I need to be more disciplined about my thinking. Some people are very disciplined when it comes to physical exercise, for instance, and then they go back home from the gym and they overthink. So, that's something I need to stop doing. And I find that this community is very caring. We do get the trolls and haters here, of course, but I see now in the chat that people here, the good people are here, and it's a caring community, and so I just wanted to share this. I made the mistake, I think, of saying something in a live stream about some things that I'm suffering from. So what I can say is that I am going to work on this with words and define myself, out of that. And you know why I know it will work? Because it has worked in the past. What I have now is actually something I had before, many years ago. And I forgot about how I got out of that. And I'm just going to do the same. And I don't know why I didn't think about that, but yeah. But anyway, enough about that. But I just wanted to share this. I would like to ask people who hear this to try to redefine themselves. You can do that. I think we all know how the subjective experience of life, how that can become negative. And there are many, many things that wouldn't be such a problem if we thought about it in a different way, or if we didn't think about it. So, yeah, okay. So you can define yourself out of problems, because we define ourselves into problems. And I am, because of that, I'm kind of skeptical. These groups where people with, like depression or so on, they come together and they talk about depression. Yes, I see the need for that coming together to to get that feeling, to get that connection, and to know that you're not alone, and you're not the only one suffering from this, and maybe listen to stories from other people who have gotten out of it, right? I see that. But I know for a fact that it can, not saying anyone should not go to groups like that, but I will say that it can go the other way, because it can make you define yourself as a depressed person, a person with depression. That becomes your self-image. So your self-image is the key word here. And I think that if you construct a good self-image, you define yourself as what you want to be. That's a huge, giant step towards getting out of your problems. And I know that some people with addiction have used that technique. And this is why I think that the liberalist view of drugs is very dangerous, because it makes it difficult for people, well, dangerous in many ways, but it makes it difficult for people to define themselves out of that. And I know people who have defined themselves out of addiction. Now, I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to claim that if you have an addiction, like a serious addiction, like narcotics, for instance, I'm not going to say that this will solve your problem, but and you should seek professional help, of course. But alcoholism also, a serious addiction. Smoking, of course, as well. But what I used as a hypnotherapist when I worked with less life-threatening addictions, like smoking. Well, smoking kills, of course, but it's not going to kill you tomorrow, while heroin could kill you tomorrow, right? So that's what I'm talking about. I worked on helping people who had nicotine addiction, right? I helped them to define themselves as non-smokers. Carola, welcome as a member to the channel. Thank you. Where was I? Yeah, so let's say, for instance, overeating. Some people overeat. They eat too much, okay? Dark psychopath, addicted to Bjorn streams. Okay, thank you. If you eat too much, can you define yourself as someone who eats healthy? Someone who eats healthy. Can you do that? And tell yourself that you're a person who eats a healthy amount of food. At least try to tell yourself that. You don't have to believe in it, because the words will shape your brain. Brain plasticity, I think it's called. Sound therapy is used for many mental challenges, and sound, the sound itself doesn't do anything, except it changes your brain. Actually, your brain is very, very moldable. It's moldable. Okay, so just wanted to say this. I am going to use this technique now on myself. Neuroplasticity, witty mystic. Thank you. That's the term, I think. And dark psychopath, sound is frequency. Really powerful, in my opinion. Yes. Where was I? Yeah, I used this in sports, and I did work with some athletes when I was a hypnotherapist, and I used to have them reshape their self-image. So someone in powerlifting, for instance, would want to be mentally solid, you know, king on the platform, or queen, if it's a woman, and to, especially if people have failed in some part of the technique, or one of the exercises and so on, you work on that and you redefine their self-image. Actually, sports, working with athletes, it's really, really easy because they're so motivated. um, yeah. So, but I think we're all athletes in our own lives. um, we can treat life as a sport, you know uh, and we need to advance in our sport being your individual life. You can advance in that, and and we need some good mental techniques for that. Will there be hard times? Yes, we know that. That's life. But it's good to have these techniques. And last thing I will say before I get to the chat now is that I did something very not stupid, but actually I can brag a little bit. I've outgrown my favorite hiking backpack because I've gained so much weight. um, and yeah, but anyway, so that was a good excuse to order a new backpack. Why am I saying this? Because I ordered one of those white backpacks. Yes, I'm in my bathrobe. Yes, I am dressed underneath. So, a white backpack. Have you seen these through hikers, and they write words on their backpacks, white backpacks, and then they all the white backpacks, of course, get dirty. I like that. I like that. It's like leather boots that you use and for a while, and they get that. What's the word? Not dirty, but that. Um, there's a word for that. When something has been used a lot, it looks a certain way. Patina, yes, and weathered as well. So I ordered a white backpack from Outdoor Vitals. I like their gear, and I, it's because I want to write some. Is it affirmations? You call it affirmations that I need to remind myself of. Um, yeah, and I'm going to do that. Okay, let's get to the chat. Kathy says, I wear my bathrobe even when I'm dressed. Yeah, I wear this bathrobe actually most of the day. Most of the day. And I'm on the, what do you call it, the decking outside of my house, and there's a path, um, and when people go there, I will be out there on the decking and standing there looking like the village idiot. So yeah. Grasslands G says, my pack has a patch, but did you die? Okay, I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Okay. Grasslands, I can't scroll up all the way, but Grasslands G, congratulations with your daughter's birthday. 16 years, put things in perspective. Yes. Altero says, I find myself still getting attached to negative self-talk. Should get rid of that. Yes, absolutely. I find that Christianity, in my opinion, the right form of Christianity can really help people with hope. Because when you think about it, praying is affirmation. You say good things in a way, and not always. I disagree with some of this. I'm a sinner and all of that, but some of it is, and done the right way, I think is a positive affirmation being repeated, which is good. Let's see. Let's see. 12 grasslands again. 12-step groups helped me once. That's the addiction groups, isn't it? Like the people suffer. Yes, I know. Okay. But I can't be reliant on those groups or the reasoning behind my problems. But it did help you. That's good. Tech Test says, I'm usually afraid to be fully happy as I think a bad thing will happen instantly when I feel happy. Yes, I can relate to that. And I think for me, when my son was, how old was he then? 6, 7. He broke his arm. He was climbing. I'm looking at the tree now, and he climbed up the tree and he fell down, and he broke his arm. And I overthink things, so I was so completely nervous, and I didn't manage that well at all. And then, of course, his arm healed, and then he was out on we had a big trampoline with his sister, who is older, and they were jumping up and down, and his sister landed on top of him, and he broke his arm, the same arm again. That was only a few months after. And then I was like, when I thought when something's good, it's not going to last. And, he broke his arm again. And at the time when things like that happen, it's sometimes difficult to see the realities of things. Okay. We're in Norway. The hospital is not far away. They fix it and everything's fine. And you don't see that when you're in the middle of it, right? So, now he's practically an adult and taller than me and big and strong and all of that. So, but you don't see it when you're in the middle of it, Let's see. Noble Heart Horse says, I used to eat too much. Yeah, that's, a lot of people eat too much because the food is designed for us to keep eating, the ultra processed food. And also we sometimes eat as a nervous reaction to things, as a stress reaction. Joe, I'm sorry to hear that. I know how it is. Okay. I'm sorry. Grasslands, I'm sorry to hear that. Uh, oh, Mr. Sorpos, yes, let's talk backpacks. A lot of people like the Savotta Yekeri. That's a good one. I don't have Savotta yet. And the keyword, I think, is yet. Um, so, yeah, they are really solid and, yeah, they are good. Let's see. Lightning, Will, I am Robin. I am sorry to hear that. Really sorry to hear that. Catherine, are you 60 today? I'm 60 today. Maybe I need new glasses. New beginning for me. Very excited to be 60. Yes. Unending Earthling says went sober in 2018. I'm not going to ask, but when people say that, some people they say I went sober then because I had an addiction problem or was drinking too much at parties and so on. Ended up under the table without my trousers all the time. And sorry, not talking about you. And some people now, especially young people, they don't drink alcohol. They drink. They do drink, but they don't drink alcohol. Okay, I don't drink alcohol. So it can mean that as well. Unending Earthling got a white Palante pack. Don't get me tempted now. And you have owned a white HMG as well. HMG, which brand is that? Unending Earthling is saying something very profound here. The gate to your jail cell is already open. All you have to do is walk through. Yeah. And sometimes we do that. Why do we do that? We shouldn't. Oh, Hyperlight. Yeah. I actually, I have frameless backpacks, and I now went for a frame backpack because of my neck and problems and all that. It's very ironic. I can deadlift a lot, but I can hardly carry anything like for distance on my shoulders anymore. So I needed a hip belt now. And yeah, so I got that. I was thinking about Hyperlight, but I needed something a little bit more rigid, actually, and I got. Now I forgot the name. Yeah, but okay. Let's see. Let's see here. Who is it that looks younger? Is it me? I'll assume it's me, even if it's not. I don't know if it's me. Well, thank you. I'm 52. I'm 52 and a half, actually, now. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I have, okay, Laura is asking, as a parent, do you think that people blame themselves too much for the mistakes of their children, especially when they are young adults? I think so. Yes, I think so. But how do you not do that? You know, um, how do I mean? It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. I will say that with age, as I've gotten older, I have become a lot less judgmental, and I was always a very judgmental person. But I think with life experience comes an understanding, or should come an understanding, that people struggle, and a lot of people, dare I say most people, sometimes they find themselves in desperate situations, and they will do anything to feel different, to get out of that uh, that that dark hole that they are in. So they will do crazy stuff to get out of that. Um, and I think that I'm less judgmental now when it comes to people who have been into drugs, you know, because I can see that many people get into that because of a desperate situation. But I have no tolerance for people claiming that, oh, it's a good thing, and you will have people saying that now. Um, so yeah, I saw another one here. Used to be an addict, but no longer. And I think it takes courage, determination, and strength to get out of something like that. I've never had any addictions myself, and I think maybe it has to do with personality. Some people uh, get into addiction easier than others. Um, yeah, but okay. um, Catherine says, I'm getting older now. I'll be dumped soon. What? No, I don't think so. Um, Life 1998 says, I define myself as a chef, historian, friend, and student. Never let the learning end. How wonderful. Um, yeah, Hotep says genetics. When it comes to addiction, you mean than personality. It could be genetics, absolutely. Um, yeah. Mike Rock is saying, at what point do you think someone should consider taking medication for depression? Difficult question. I'm not a doctor, but also I know that many doctors, they will prescribe that too soon. But then again, actually, if you do it too late, it can be too late. Like people can commit suicide and so on if they struggle with depression for too long. I will say, so I can't give you any advice here, but try to see if, first of all, if your depression is caused by something outside of you. One example is, and this was discussed here in Norway some time ago, you would have young girls getting medication for depression after a breakup. And I think that's wrong, because if it's a breakup, your, what do you call it in English? Grief, love. we call it kjærlighetssorg in Norwegian, love, sorrow, love, grief. Well, the grief you feel after a breakup. And I don't think that should be medicated. Yeah, painful, of course, but you need to get through it in a natural way. But then again, you have depression that goes on and on and on, and people just struggle. And they, so I'm not saying I'm against medication for depression. Some people need that, and some people really really suffer. And I think that they should get help. Uh, Heartbreak, yes, Altera, yes, that's what it's called. Yeah, and we have all been there, you know. But food also, yes, unending earthling, yes, of course. Try to see if it's something outside of you that is giving you depression. Do you hate your work? If so, can you get another job? Do you live in a horrible place? Do you have people around you who are keeping you down? Are you try to fix those things and see if your depression goes away. But then again, I know that we talked about this, how the plasticity of the brain, it works in such a way that if you have been depressed for a long time, it's your go-to mood in a way. It's because actually you can see this on scans. I think your brain will. It's like when you have a forest and you have some tracks in the forest. Those tracks that are used the most are the easiest to walk. That's how your brain works. So if you are used to being depressed, it gets easier to get into that again. And this ties into this affirmation or confirmation or whatever you call it in English, where you tell yourself that I use this example was, if you think that you're ugly, tell yourself I'm beautiful. Tell yourself I'm beautiful. You don't have to believe in it, but you're going to start believing in it after a while. you know so, and Catherine says, we get addicted to emotions also. Absolutely, yes. Yeah, Hotep says, back in my day, anytime we got broken up, we just cried about for a few weeks, exercised, and did single person things. I don't know what's going on with these young people. Well, yeah. Yes, and also, of course, at least as young men, you would get drunk and end up in and wake up next to someone, and you had to really struggle to remember her name. so so yeah, you have that coping technique as well, I guess. So maybe not yeah, not so. We will move on. Alex99, that's very kind of you. Now I get curious. RON, what kind of currency is that? RON, Ron. Thank you. Sharp canines can relate. 1970s was bad for that. Yeah, positivity, good nickname there. My elder sister told me when I was very young, you live. Faced with great hardships, I always tell myself, you live. Yes. Um, I people are asking a little bit about medication here. I'm not a doctor, but you shouldn't suffer. Ron is Romanian currency. Thank you. Um, let's see here. You shouldn't suffer if you don't have to suffer. So what I'm trying to say is that if there is medication that can help you, you should probably say yes to that. But you should also fix the problem, fix the things giving you those problems, like your surroundings. Um, yes, Catherine, change the situation. So, I struggle with pain. I have chronic pain, and I do have painkillers for that. And I think it would be stupid to not take that, because we're not talking, just minor pain. So, but I'm also trying to change my surroundings, and it's not so easy, but I know I have to. I'm glad to hear that it's better, Altera. But back to this technique, you can define yourself out of a situation, and I have to repeat this, and I think we need to repeat this because it's so important. You have to define yourself as a healthy person, even if you're not at the moment. You have to define yourself as a healthy person and do healthy person things. Focus on what you can do instead of what you can't do. I'll give you another example. When I was a child, very suddenly my left leg grew longer than the right leg, and I started limping because of that. And this was early 80s, and it was not like you were cared for much in school. So so then you would have a changing I would always be picked last for soccer teams and so on. And it changes your self-perception and your self-image. And then I found lifting. So I started lifting at a very early age, at 13. And I got very strong, very fast, very quickly. And that redefined my self-image from someone that I thought was not physically good in any way, to someone who could look at the other boys in the class and, they're tiny and weak now. So that's an example. I think it's a good example of how your self-image, taking control of your self-image, right? You need to take control of your self-image. You need to define yourself as the person you want to be, and then you have to work towards that. And I know it might seem difficult and it might seem impossible, but it's not impossible. Um, you know, so um, let's see. Yeah, Michael Lapis, thank you for saying that. I'm glad that it didn't affect your walking. Um, let's see. I'm just scrolling up a little bit. Yeah, a good one here as well. Horatius 763. You're writing, you have to figure out how to release guilt and shame and love yourself and put your well being first. Yes. And this is one where I think that my generation, Gen X, we're not good at that at all. As a general rule, we're not good at that. We were shamed as kids and all of that. Love yourself. I up until recently, I didn't even know what that would mean. You know, put your well-being first. I didn't even know what well-being would mean. You know I like to sit by the campfire, right? But you're right, and I think that, and I want to bring in the generational discussion. No, the discussion about the generations here, because I see that Gen Z, Set C, get a lot of criticism now because they're lazy, they won't work, and but you know what? I'm full of admiration for Gen Z because they figured it out, didn't they? They understand that life is not about slaving away in some corporation. That's not what life is supposed to be. Um, so Gen Z, I learn a lot from Gen Z, and I guess are my kids Gen Z? Um, maybe. How old are Gen Z now? But Gen Z. Whenever I hear that they are not interested in a typical career, they're not interested in working their way up in their industry, so on. I applaud that because it's a trap. It's a trap. It's a way to take advantage of people and have them slaving away until they die. You know. So yeah, I like Gen Z. I like Gen Z. Gen Z is 1997 to 2012, right? Forever here. Um, yeah. Um, Hotep says Gen Z don't mind working. They just don't want to get a 4-year degree to copy and paste stuff on a spreadsheet and paid peanuts for the loans they had to take for the 4-year degree. Okay. Millennials, I don't know so much about millennials actually. And it's because Gen Alpha. Yeah, but anyway, if you have figured out that this idea that you have to work hard and that will be rewarded and so on in the corporate system, if you figured out that that's a lie, good for you, because it is a lie, in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, I think I will keep the discussion about writing books out of this for now. It's a big discussion. Yeah, but I'm not saying my kids don't work hard. They study hard. They do, because they seem genuinely interested in the topics that they are studying. And that's great. They are very intelligent, much more intelligent than I am, and they like studying. So, I mean, go for it. If you like studying, go for it. And this is also one of the reasons why I'm irritated when I get irritated when I see people dissing. Is that the word that the cool kids use? Dissing people who go to college and university. Why? It's just this dislike of education and this idea that university is all woke. It's part of a bigger movement, an anti. Isaac Asimov wrote about that, and he talked about that. So it's not a new thing. It's a very American thing. The contempt for knowledge. There's a term. I made a video about that on the main channel. Yeah, but anyway, that's wrong, So, but anyway, let's stick to the topic here and the chat. Yes, the contempt for intellectualism, low-tech, anti-intellectualism. Yes. Yeah, when you say that, I have to say something about it. Don't take this the wrong way, but fascist and communist movements or rulers, they have something in common. They hate the intellectuals. They are the book burners. You saw it in Nazi Germany, and you saw it in the Soviet Union. They have this contempt for intellectualism. And we have to, I have to say this. I do see the same happening in the USA now. It's part of something that's been going on for decades, but it is very obvious that there is a growing contempt for intellectualism in the USA. And I do not think that's a good thing. So, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Trump is a fascist. I'm not going to say that because I don't think he is. But there are similarities when you look at which cultures have traditionally hated intellectualism. Well, it's the fascist, or which systems have hated intellectualism. Well, it's fascism and communism. And of course, the dictators, a dictator don't want people who can think. So that's something to keep an eye on. That's something to keep an eye on. And yes, I get it. When European journalists, when they go to the USA, and they went to the Trump campaigns, and they would always find someone who looked a little bit stupid with the Make America Great cap and the American flag T-shirt, and someone who looked like he or she could not really put together two words. put together words in a sentence, and they would interview that person, and just to create this illusion that, oh, the Trump voters are stupid, they're all stupid. Yes, I get that. But there certainly is a movement in the USA that is very hateful of intellectuals and intellectualism. Yeah, okay. Sharp Canine's big list of banned books in the USA. Let's see here. Yeah. People get upset when I say this. Horatius763 says that I should look more into this before having an opinion on these complex topics. Yeah, I think we also have fake intellectuals, right? So we have intellectuals who are more, they're like politicians and activists more than intellectuals. We don't really see that much here, at least not in Norway. But I think you have that in the USA and Canada probably. Yeah. So when it comes to books being banned from schools, I don't know how it works in the USA, but I will tell you how it works in Norway. And because I think my guess is that we're not really talking about banning books. Maybe there are some that are actually banned, but okay, let me just explain how it works. I know this. This is something I actually know about because I'm a novelist, and my books are in many school libraries, but not in all of them. And why is that? Is it because my books are banned from those libraries where they are not present? No. Saying that a certain book should not be in a school library is not the same as banning that book. You're just saying that this book is not suitable for our kids. So, for instance, most of my books are not something I feel that a 9-year-old should read. First of all, because I think they wouldn't really understand the book, but also because there is some violence in there that, I think you should be a little bit older. That's why we have categories of books. So books for adults, like my books, are not bought by school libraries in kids' schools, right? So that's how it works. And they will make a selection because they can't have all the books in the world or all Norwegian books in the library, because it will be a very small library. So when they make a list of books that they are going to buy for the library, when they don't include this and that book, doesn't mean that it's banned. It just means that they have to make a selection. And they also point at some books and they say that this book here is not suitable for our school library because the kids are kids here. They are small kids. So you probably wouldn't find the Kama Sutra in a school library for little kids here in Norway. right? So, but you would probably find it in a library, on a university library, because it's an important book in world, in the literary history. But of course, it's a very sexual book. So, you know, that's what I'm talking about here. And yeah, Isabella says, if you saw the books in school for kids here in Canada, it's disgusting, pure P, so evil. Yeah, it's I think, actually, I don't know which books of that kind are like sexual educational books. I don't know which such books are in school libraries, and I don't know what they are like, and I don't know. I'm certainly not going to go and look. Yeah. Animal Farm is an important book to read. Absolutely. Everyone's equal, but some are more equal than others. Yeah. uh, let's see. Did President Trump points out the high marks in education in Norway, Sweden, and Dutch countries. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, well, that's great. But actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think Norway is now not doing great when it comes to reading skills. I think Finland is very good. And The Handmaid's Tale, I haven't read that. I'm not really that interested, but probably shouldn't be removed because there's a TV series, isn't it, there? And so people will want to read it, I guess. In the US, they call it a ban because the book is being banned from the shelf in the school. It isn't banned from private reading. It's not a ban if it's banned from a school library, I guess. Depends on how you see it, how you define it. But they have the Bible, which is full of violence and incest and all sorts of horrible stuff. So if they have the Bible there in the school library, it probably shouldn't be so judgmental about other books, But maybe that will be illegal to even say in the USA. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, probably should be very careful here with references to the Bible and some of those stories, because I might get the live stream closed down. Yeah. Okay. Kids should be pulled out of public schools. Okay. I don't see the context here, but I'm getting to the end of this live stream. Oh, sorry about that. Mihai S. Um, but I've been talking for some time now. I haven't had my breakfast yet. Oh, that's interesting. Hotep says, I think they took the Bible out of our libraries. Did they? They shouldn't have, in my mind, but okay, because they tried to have other religious books in as well, but the locals didn't want that, so they took it out. I think that well, if you have the Bible, you should have other religious books, religious texts, of course, in the school library, um, or else well, yeah, that seems wrong to have only the Bible. But should you have the Bible in kids' schools? It's like I don't think you get damaged as a kid if you read the Bible and some of the Old Testament parts there. And I don't think kids will bother opening that book. They won't be interested. That's what I think. Alex 99. Well, I was going to refer to some of the things there that are quite demonetizing. Sharkana says no books about dinosaurs in Christian homeschooling. Yeah, that's what I worry about. I get the reason for homeschooling, but I worry about what do they teach the kids then. Homeschooling can be great and much better than public schools, of course, and there are many reasons to take your kids out of the school, but if it means that now we will teach the kids that the world is, what is it, 5,000 years old, and the dinosaurs were on the ark, and so on and so on, then I think that child will have a difficult time navigating modern society, you know. So, yeah. Jason, I agree. I think more Christians should read the Bible. Absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, okay. Is bacon on the menu? No, I don't think so. But I am getting hungry. Still have some more emails to get through. So just a quick notice here. Home Planet says the minimum wage in California is $16.50 per hour. Wow. I think people should be paid fairly for the work that they are doing. But okay. Yeah, we'll get back to this and other things as well. Thank you for joining. And if you're just listening to this, consider subscribing to the channel. So, yeah, wonderful. Okay, have a wonderful evening or day, whatever it is. We'll talk soon.